Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, nama saya Cynthia dari Program Studi Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris dengan NIM 20030500071. Kali ini saya akan menjelaskan sedikit mengenai Chapter 4 Intercultural Communication. Communication can be defined as the exchange of meaning. This involves the sending and receiving of information between a sender and a receiver. This happens not only through the use of the word, but also through nonverbal factors such as gesture and facial expression. The message received can be very different from the message was sent. Model umum untuk komunikasi ditunjukkan pada gambar berikut ini. Di sini ada noise, search, encoding, message, channel, receiver, decoding, receiver response, and feedback. Pada intercultural communication ini terdapat masalah dalam komunikasi antar budaya. Itu biasanya bersumber dari masalah dalam transmisi pesan. Dalam komunikasi antar orang-orang dari budaya yang sama, orang yang menerima pesan menafsirkannya berdasarkan nilai kepercayaan dan harapan untuk perilaku yang serupa dengan orang yang mengirim pesan tersebut. Ketika ini terjadi, cara pesan diinterpretasikan ini mungkin cukup mirip dengan apa yang dimaksudkan oleh pembicara. Namun, jika penerima pesan ini adalah dari orang yang memiliki budaya yang berbeda, penerima pesan menggunakan informasi dari budayanya untuk menafsirkan pesan tersebut, sehingga pesan yang ditafsirkan oleh penerima ini mungkin akan sangat berbeda dengan yang dimaksudkan oleh pembicara. Okay, next. A. Barriers to intercultural communication. 1. Attitude. Sample cases. 1. It's impossible to generalize cultures. There are many differences. Comment. Care should be taken with generalization, but at times they are necessary and they can be useful as long as allowance is made for individual differences. Sample cases. 2. Today I work with Indonesian. Tomorrow I will meet my American partners. I can possibly learn all I need to know about all the cultures I have to deal with. Comment. Intercultural training can sensitive you to the sort of factors that might be influencing communication. Next, 2. Perception. The fact that people perceive the same thing in different ways is particularly important in intercultural communication. The way we perceive is culturally determined, and the general lack of awareness of this is another barrier to intercultural communication. 3. Stereotype. A stereotype is a fixed idea or image that many people have a particular type of person, things, or event, but sometimes it is not true in reality. Generalization and categories are necessary, but when they are too rigid, they can be a barrier to the effective interpretation of a situation. In intercultural communication, it is vital to distinguish between what is part of a person's cultural background and what is part of their personality. Next, 4. Interpretation. Gadikans in Gibson 2000 suggests 3 ways of checking our interpretation of other people's behavior. 1. Perception checking. The aim of perception checking is to ensure that our interpretation of the other person's behavior is what he or she means it to be. 2. Listening effectively. Active listening involves showing the speaker that we are involved in the conversation, trying to understand them better. By asking questions, for instance, or restarting what they have said. 3. Giving feedback. This is the verbal or non-verbal response to others. The ways feedback is given vary widely across cultures. 5. Culture shock. Culture shock is precipitated by the anxiety that results from losing all our familiar signs and symbols of social intercourse. The signs are choose include the 1001 ways in which we orient ourselves to the situation of daily life. 6. Nonverbal behavior. While language is the primary means of communication, nonverbal behavior also communicates. Nonverbal patterns include gesture, facial expression, eye contact, body movement, touching, and the use of space and time. Next, B. Cultural learning. Saya akan menunjukkan gambar dari fase pembelajaran budaya. Kalian bisa lihat sendiri di sini. So, at the lowest level is the belief that all people are alike. Then comes a recognition that there are differences and acceptance of the differences. Seeing ways of synthesizing the different ways, selecting and making things run smoothly. The process of cultural learning can be helped along by experience, reflection, and training. Intercultural training not only provide information, but also develop skill and encourage attitude to enable people to progress along the cultural learning curve. Next, C. Dealing with difference. Based on a research, Martin Gibson 2000 and lists in order of priority what personnel manager in German companies looked for in international manager. 1. Social competence. 2. Openness to other ways of thinking. 3. Cultural adaptation. 4. Professional excellence. 5. Language skill. 6. Flexibility. 7. Ability to manage or work in a team. 8. Adaptability of the family. 9. Passion. 10. Sensitivity. So, look at the list. Professional excellence is not at the top of the list. If the professional is measured in this way, it can be dangerous in an intercultural environment, where qualities such as adaptability and a high tolerance for ambiguity are more important. Next, D. Improving intercultural communication. In interaction with people from foreign cultures, a person who is interculturally competent understands the culture-specific concept of perception, thinking, feeling, and acting. The basic requirements for intercultural competence are 1. Break the assumption. 2. Empathize. 3. Involve. 4. Discourage herd mentality. 5. Avoid incentive behavior. So, effective communication depends on the informal understandings among the parties involved that are based on the trust developed between them. When trust exists, there is implicit understanding within communication. Cultural differences may be overlooked and problems can be dealt with more easily. The meaning of trust and how it is developed and communicated vary across societies. Similarly, some cultures have a greater propensity to be trusting than others. Jadi, dari semua penjelasan yang sudah saya jelaskan tadi, bisa kita simpulkan bahwa komunikasi antar budaya adalah komunikasi yang terjadi di antara orang-orang yang memiliki kebudayaan yang berbeda, seperti ras, etnik, dan lain sebagainya. Dan komunikasi antar budaya ini bisa terjadi karena alasan yang bermacam-macam. Komunikasi ini mencangkup pihak yang berperan sebagai pengirim dan penerima secara berganti-ganti. Maka dari itu, masalah atau kesulitan pasti bisa terjadi dari semua pihak. Oleh sebab itu, diperlukan satu cara atau strategi untuk menyamakan perbedaan dan persepsi dalam komunikasi antar budaya tersebut. Untuk itu, perlu adanya rasa saling menghormati dan menghargai dalam berkomunikasi antar budaya. Mungkin itu saja yang bisa saya sampaikan. Terlebih dan terkurang mohon dimaafkan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.